Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight here live for the Region 4 matchup between St. Joe and the Tulsa Lady Rebels.
Number 10, Heidi Priest. Number 12, Olivia Kelly. Number 22, Daisy Croft. And number 52, Amber Stevens. And now, introducing starting lineup for the Brighton Lady Irish, with number 2, Lacey Smith. Number 3, Ava Young. Number 12, Mariah Johnson. Number 22, Nico Buckner. And number 23, Faith Kenta Fraser. The Lady Irish are head coach this summer and assistants Lisa Hammond and Tariq Thompson.
All right, everybody, thank you guys for joining us today. We are out here at Spring Valley High School for the matchup between Tulsa and St. Joe. I'm joined by Justin Prince.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to kind of just go through the game to give you a little bit of, I wouldn't necessarily call it play-by-play, but we'll at least let you know what's going on. Justin's got a little bit more experience than I do, and I'm super glad to have him joining me here today to walk through this.
Well, thank you for having me. I do all the Tulsa games out there at Glen Hayes, so I'm pretty familiar with our girls. I haven't got a chance to watch St. Joe yet, so I'm excited to see you guys tonight.
Hey, it should be a good matchup. I mean, this is, I guess all the marbles, right? Like they go, whoever wins this goes on to the big house up in Charleston.
Yeah, and it's a rematch from last year's regional final. Tulsa won that one, but that was at Tulsa, so different environment here tonight. Already you can see a little bit of that St. Joe pressure causing, the Rebels some trouble turning it over there on their first possession.
Yeah, I was just happy there wasn't a little foul on either team there. We got a little play, just a little jump ball, and we're back on the court.
Yeah, postseason basketball, they usually call things a little less tight than they do in the regular season, let more things go as St. Joe gets put back there.
That's number 12, Mariah Johnson. She's one of our freshman players. And that one goes in the bucket by number 23, Kendra Frazier. She was new to St. Joe this year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember a whole lot of these faces from a year ago. It seems like there's a lot of new faces out there for the Irish.
Well, it's great because Ava's a sophomore player. Nico, she's one of our junior players. This is her. All right. And Lacey, number 12 or number 2 there, she had a injury and she was sitting in the transfer kind of holding spot last year, so she didn't get to make it on the court either. So it's been a really good year to see them all jive together.
Yeah, Tulsa's kind of in the same boat. A few of these girls got playing time last year, but they lost a lot off last year's team to graduation, and a lot of these girls are just getting their first varsity minutes this season.
Surprisingly, a little less physical of a game than I expected. I figured they would all be rearing up and going at it, but I like that they're starting off a little slow. I imagine the intensity will pick up a little later in the game.
Yeah, and I think that might be also part of the game plan for the Rebels coming in here tonight was just kind of slow things down and try to negate some of that athleticism that the Irish have. This is, again, the Tulsa team that doesn't have a whole lot of experience on the floor, really kind of played over their heads to even get to this point. So I think Coach Marone is really just wanting to try to keep this thing as close as possible for as long as he can, just give his guys a chance to win at the end.
I love that. Yeah, I think it's really great that both of these teams have worked so hard to get to this point, and it's a deserving season for both teams with everything that they've had going on. Still looks to be Tulsa's possession here.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Tulsa ball underneath their own basket down there. Emily Archer triggering it in for the Rebels.
Seems like both teams we may be up by a couple points, but it seems like both teams are having trouble just really they're just all a little off right now. I think they're a little excited, maybe a little worked up, and I'm excited to see once they get that first timeout, get to reset, kind of slow down, and then speaking of first timeout, there it is. Yeah. But I think that's kind of what both teams need right now is a little bit of time just to slow down and see what's going on.
Yeah, trying to settle things down. Also, too, both teams playing at a court that they don't normally play at. You got to get used to new surroundings and things like that. So neither team really has the home court advantage that you would typically have in a regional final.
How much do you think that weighs in, like in a game like that? If we were out at Tulsa right now, what would it feel like out there in the crowd?
Well, it would be definitely a louder atmosphere. It's a much smaller gym than what we have here at Spring Valley, so everything just feels like it's more on top of the court. It's louder. It's a little bit more intense atmosphere when you got this many people inside the gymnasium there at Tulsa. Also, too, I think, Tulsa's had a couple of point-blank looks that they've missed. At home, maybe they make those. And then same thing for the Irish. They've had a couple of good looks go in and out on them that at home they probably knock those down.
And looks like Tulsa stepped out there, turn it over to the Irish, but I think that's a good feeling for both teams to have this. I mean, it's not a good feeling, don't get me wrong. Like, we want to have that home court advantage, but making sure that it is equal, that everyone is feeling the same thing, I think that really is helping to even the playing match here.
Yeah, and the thing about a neutral floor is whoever wins this game is going to be able to walk away knowing that they were truly the better team, because you don't have that home court advantage, which is oftentimes worth 6 to 8 points.
Sure. Whew, I really wish we could, but we're having a little trouble out there on the 3 line for a little bit there. But I mean, I think again we're gonna get our time out again and get everyone settled.
Yeah.
The defense, they've been playing pretty strong. A couple turnovers for the Irish, but just not able to capitalize on them yet. Like 22, Nico Kaufman's gonna get called with that one.
And that's something to watch, too. That's 3 fouls on the Irish now. So a couple more, and Toss will be in the bonus. And that might be the best thing for the Rebels to get a couple free ones at the line.
That's a quick way to get some points on the board, and those things sneak up quicker than you think.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're struggling shooting the ball or scoring the basketball too, those freebies at the foul line can kind of calm your nerves and get you going a little bit.
Looks like the last foul was number 22 on Tulsa there, but I don't know who that is.
J.C. Crum.
Okay,
J.C. Crum,
it looked like it
22.
was her first and team's first.
Yeah, she's coming off a game against Tug Valley in our sectional championship game where she got herself in some foul trouble, ended up fouling out of that ball game. So that's something she wants to avoid tonight. She's one of Tulsa's better scorers.
There's a quick second one there. It looks like it was shooting foul on 52.
And that's going to be Amber Stevens. And she'll go to the bench now, and Tulsa will make a substitution.
Looks like jump ball there, and St. Joe will take over on that one. That one's going to go in from number 11, Sophie Ransbottom.
Moving screen there on Olivia Kelly.
They said that someone down there told them, like someone on our bench told them to do it. They got to St. Joe. But
Yeah, that's fine.
okay, thank you.
It's been pretty cool to see these students kind of all taking a little bit of turn, being involved with running the cameras. And I think what's cool is that you're from Tulsa, I'm from St. Joe, and we've got this joint process here of making sure we're letting everybody at home know what's going on that can't be here. But I mean, it's a pretty good crowd today. It looks like
it is. It is a good crowd, and you know, I personally, as a broadcasting teacher, love to see the students get involved. That's what we, you know, out Tulsa, that's what we do. They have their own faux company. We call it Glen Hayes Entertainment. I usually call the game. Sometimes I have a student on helping me call it, but I always have students running the cameras.
I think it's a great experience. That completely changed my trajectory on like what I was interested in when I got to go down to Ohio University and get my hands on some equipment and do some stuff. And so we do the morning announcements every morning at St. Joe on TV and all that stuff. And that's been a new addition. And I think the kids are really starting to show some interest in it. And people that maybe you wouldn't have guessed to be interested in it are involved.
Yeah, you can't beat that hands-on real-world experience of doing a live broadcast.
Looks like that's a 3 from number 12, Mariah Johnson.
And Tulsa's in a situation now where they really need a bucket.
They're making the opportunity. It's just getting it dialed in. And I mean, it's taken us a little bit of time. It looks like we finally got that first 3-point, shot to go in. But I mean, the percentage of what the shots we were taking versus going in, it's not so great right now.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great look that J.C. Crum got there in the corner from 3 wide open, just couldn't knock it down. And, Tulsa's had a few of those. And you got to get some credit to St. Joe, obviously. Their length, I think, is causing problems for Tulsa. That's another good look. It's just, shots just aren't falling. Really, Tulsa's lucky to be only down 11.
It looks like number 11, Sophie Ransbottom's going to head to the line there. Looks like she was fouled by number 10.
Yeah, that's Kylie Priest. And I was kind of watching to see who they were going to call it on, because if that had been on 52, Amber Stevens, that would have been her second.
About a minute left here in the first quarter. Pretty intense, back and forth. No one's really dialed in completely. There's some good defense going back and forth. They're making some opportunities to take the shots. They're just not all going in. Oh, there's a three.
And maybe that'll settle Tulsa down a little bit. They finally kind of broke the seal, got something to go in. And maybe that'll calm them down a little bit again. I mean, it's just a non-play ball game. You've only scored 3 points in a quarter and only down 9. That's a pretty good spot to be in, really, if you're Tulsa.
That's Ava Gallion with the three there. Oh, I think she pulled that foul right there at the end.
That'll send J.C. Crum to the line for the Rebels. She is Tulsa's best foul shooter, so this should result in at least 1 point coming at the line here.
A little late on the release there for Ava, but we're going into the first quarter, 15-4. St. Joe's up, but I mean, I think that they could have been up a little bit more. To be honest, if they just sank some of those shots, I think they're playing hard. I think what you said earlier, Tulsa's getting the looks. How do you see from this point? What do they need to do to turn things around a little bit for them?
Well, they just got to start making some shots. They're getting looks. They've had some opportunities. They missed a couple layups, a couple open jump shots there in the quarter. Just 1 or 2 of those go in, and all of a sudden, instead of an 11-point game, you're down 6 or 7, and that's a much different place to be in. But, I mean, again, all things considered, as poorly as Tulsa shot the ball in that first quarter, to only be down 11 to a team as talented as St. Joe, that's not a bad place to be, all things considered.
And I think, Coach Huff right now is over there trying to get them to slow down. We want to pass the ball a couple more times, get that ball moved around the court. That way we can create those opportunities that we're not rushing the shots. We can then take our time to maybe make a few more. I think on defense, they're coming at them strong. They're pulling some turnovers and they're keeping them contained a little bit. But I think overall they need to slow down, move the ball a couple more times before they take that shot, and just get it in from that point.
Yeah, I think right now, honestly, both coaches are probably telling their team similar things. Like, hey, guys, you're not playing extremely poorly. You're just shooting the ball extremely poorly. Just settle down. Coach Duff probably feels like, hey, we could be up 15 or 20 right now. And Coach Marone probably feels like, hey, guys, this could be a 5-7 point ball game if we just hit some shots.
Yeah, I think it could definitely – we could see if they get their momentum going here in this second quarter, we could see this 15-4 turn into 15-14, 16-15. It can change pretty quickly.
Yeah, and Tulsa, it seems like they at least made the adjustment on the St. Joe pressure early in that quarter. St. Joe caused several turnovers on Tulsa's first few possessions. Tulsa kind of settled that down and was able to get the ball up the floor against that Irish press. It's just a matter for the Rebels of capitalizing on those shots.
Looks like it's going to stay Irish ball. Not exactly everyone happy with that.
And the refs are talking it over. They're going to switch the call.
Switch it. All right. Again, can't please everybody here.
And honestly, if you're a referee and you're doing your job, somebody should be mad.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you make everybody happy, you might not be doing your job as the official.
Looks like that's going to stay Tulsa's ball. They had a real opportunity there. I think St. Joe just kind of cut them off and shut it down. And a little fast break here to see with the Euro step that Nico Kaufman, number 22.
Yeah, that was a great job on that last possession defensively by the Irish. Tulsa had the baseball pass inbounds, beat him over top. Irish did a great job of hustling back and denying Tulsa even an opportunity to get a shot up.
Looks like they're calling that one at number 2, Lacey Smith. She was on the team last year, didn't get the playing time on the court this year. Watching all of them jive together has been really fantastic. It kind of seems like back in the day when, St. Joe had that run where they were championship after championship. Yeah. It seems like a real possibility this year. So it's been fun, a real fun season to see them all working together.
Well, I know when, I was checking scores for the sectional championships and I saw that St. Joe went up to Gilmer County and got that win. That was an eye-opener for me because Gilmer County is one of those teams in West Virginia girls basketball that is always at the top. And to go to Gilmer County and get that win, that's a tough place to play.
Man, I remember I was tuning in and we were up 16 or so points and I was just so excited. And then, they adjusted and Ava knocking another one down. Just 2 on that one. She did not get the 3. But watching them close that gap on St. Joe, and then it got very, very intense. Came down to just some foul shots, real clutch foul shots at the end of the game to secure that win. But when you look at a team that's 21, and you go up and get that win, it was exciting for us to see them cut those nets down.
And again, that is a very, very difficult place to play. We had to go up there 2 years ago and play, and it's like playing in a gladiator pit. The fans are elevated. Yeah. You're down on the court, and it is an intense atmosphere.
Looks like they got called a little over and back there, and so I'll switch it over to the Irish on this one. Well, a little strong from Kendra there, but watching the two of them, they're pretty strong down low, and seeing how they've been able to take advantage of that this year has been a fun time. Kicking it out there.
And right there is a perfect example of, we talked about it in the first quarter. Tulsa's a little bit intimidated, I think, by this Irish length. I thought Amber Stevens had a pretty good look at the basket, and she decided to kick it out for that 3 instead.
There's another fast break from Nico Coffin. She hands it off to Ava. Another pass to Kendra, and they get the 2. I think Coach always tries to push them getting that ball, moving it around the court, creating those opportunities. Slow down a little bit. You don't have to take the shot immediately. And sometimes it works really well, and it's paying off today. But honestly, I'm worried about coming back after the half. We still have 5.5 minutes in this quarter, but I think that's when you come out after a quarter, like being down like this, a team can come back and really rally and see them close that gap and really put the pressure on.
Well, you don't want to get lackadaisical if you're St. Joe and just start resting on the 17-point lead. And if you're Tulsa, you have to start getting some buckets. You can't come back all at once. You have to kind of chip away at that lead bit by bit. So it starts one possession at a time.
And breakaway from number 10 there. Looks like St. Joe got called with the foul there. Ava Gallion. They're saying a little too much, too much of a block there. But I like the pressure. I like that you guys made that opportunity to get that shot off there, and she wasn't afraid to take it.
No, Emily Artrup, she's a junior. She's the most seasoned player on our team as far as varsity basketball experience, and she's one of our leading scorers, and that's who Tulsa is really going to have to lean on if they want to chip back away here at this St. Joe lead. But, you've got to capitalize at the line when you get those opportunities. And right now, 0 for 2 on this trip for Archer.
I watched a short clip from Metro News. They did a little sports roundup talking about some of the teams that they see in the top. And they were talking about the boys, and both of us, both of our teams were mentioned as contenders from what I think is what they were counting a top 6 possibilities in the finals there. So it was cool to see that we might get that matchup once again. It's always fun to see. And I tell you, I can't think of his name. Who's that? You guys got a pretty standout star player.
Parker Watts.
Man,
Parker
that
Watts
kid
is one of the better guards in the state of West Virginia, regardless of class. He had a heck of a month last month, or early in the this month in February here, and back-to-back nights he set the school record. One night he had 54, then he came back the next night and had 55 for points in a game. He's a phenomenal player, but Region 4 is perhaps the toughest region in single A. You have Tug Valley, you have St. Joe, you have Tulsa, Wahama, all teams that could easily make it to Charleston.
Well, in and out there for Kansas. She can't catch one right now. She's on point. She's there. She's just not getting the luck of the Irish on this one. A little turnover from Mariah Johnson. See if she can capitalize here. Oh, but I think she pulled the foul.
Yeah, it looks like she drew the foul on, I believe they may call this on J.C. Crum. That'll be her second. No, they called it on Olivia Kelly, the freshman, but it is also her second as well. So foul trouble, something the Rebels going to have to keep an eye on as this game progresses.
Yeah, when you guys came to Huntington to, we pulled off the win there, man. It was fun to watch him play. I think everyone was a bit surprised that our young little phenom Makai Iram was able to kind of keep up with him. I don't think that was expected, but I mean, he still put up a quiet 38 points. I mean, like it was so fun to see him play. It was fun to watch our guys really put all of their effort into trying to keep that from getting out of hand. Because I think you said it. He's 54 points one night. 50. It can get out of hand.
He can get hot and he can fill it up in a hurry. And I think right now, as the regular season ended, we head into sectional play. They got Sherman tomorrow night. The boys do. He's averaging about 26 a game. So he's had a season, and he's just gotten better and better every year since his freshman season.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see it. Just knowing that our teams both have had this opportunity to make the run for this, both boys and girls teams. I think that's exciting for our schools.
Yeah. Well, and I know the Tulsa boys would love to have another opportunity to face St. Joe again. I think they feel like that game got a little bit more out of hand than it should be, that those teams are more evenly matched than that score showed that night. But, hats off to Coach Maynard. He's a phenomenal coach, and he's going to have his guys ready regardless of who they end up playing. And
it's always a lot of emotion when our teams meet up,
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when a coach leaves one school and goes to the other. And then you add in the factor of Jesse Muncie following Coach Maynard to Huntington St. Joe. And, that left a little sour taste in the mouths of some Rebel fans. And I think Jesse was a great player. First team All-State for you guys, led you to the Final Four. And I know that a lot of Tulsa fans, they still love Jesse, they still support Jesse, but they were upset to have to see him play in the blue and gold instead of the blue and orange.
I'd like to say that I was sad about it. I wasn't. I wasn't there yet. I hadn't started working there. I'm glad they got that. And I would have to imagine if the tides were turned, we would feel the same way, right? It's just natural for you to see your star player, somebody you've counted on being that key player in his senior year, to be there. I can only imagine that had to be a bit frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, Muncie was a guy who was on pace to become the school's all-time leading scorer had he stayed for his senior year at Tulsa. So, yeah, that was a huge blow to the Rebels that year. Our loss was St. Joe's game.
Looks like they called that one on Mariah Johnson, and that was her first. It looks like the team's fifth, so it looks like Tulsa's in the bonus now.
So that was a great move there by J.C. Crum to create that opportunity, but left it short and couldn't finish. And the Irish quickly back the other way.
Ava Guy was able to put that one back in, and another 2 to the lead there. All right. Is that number 10?
Yeah, it's Kylie Priest. That's her second 3. She's got 6 of the Rebel 7. And, that was a big bucket there because, again, it was a 20-point lead for the Irish. It was kind of getting to that mark where it might get out of hand.
Oh.
Double dribble there for the Rebels. And, another golden opportunity slips away for Tulsa. That should have been an easy 2 points. They had the fast break opportunity, and, you turn it over there unforced.
I think they're looking at the scoreboard. They shouldn't be, but they are, and that's going to kind of get into everybody's head a little bit to try to hurry up and try to get those things. If I'm Tulsa right now, I'm trying to get number 10 there some open opportunities where she's got a minute to rest and get that shot off because, like you said, that's her second one of the day so far. I think she has an opportunity to really to get that dialed in if she could just have the time to do that.
Yeah. Right now it's just a matter of Tulsa just capitalizing when they have their opportunities. Too many missed opportunities for the Rebels, and St. Joe, again, has played really well defensively. That's part of the issue for the Rebels, but Tulsa's missed its fair share of open looks as well.
I think next year is going to be a little bit tougher of a year for St. Joe. Right now there's 3 girls on the floor that, 2 girls on the floor right now that will not be back next year. We've got some strong younger players. That's Claire Little with the shot there. She missed, but I'll tell you what, she's got the energy. She's got the drive. That girl is not going to stop the whole time she's on this court. She's going to be going hard. And she's not going to make them all, but she's going to make some opportunities, and that's exciting for us for next year. But having Nico Kaufman, Lacey Smith, and Sophie Ransbottom, 3 of our top players not coming back is going to be a tough little bit of a rebuild time to see those, to count on our players to step up and show those leadership roles and who can handle it.
Yeah. And that's the beauty if you're Tulsa, right? Everybody on the floor for the Rebels right now will be back next year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. We only have one senior, Sarah Sturgill. She gets a lot of playing time. Usually she hasn't played much tonight. I think that's a matchup issue. She's a smaller guard, and the length and size for St. Joe, I think, is caused Coach Marone to go with a larger lineup tonight. But that's the only senior the Rebels have, so everybody on this team comes back. They add a couple of really good 8th graders coming up from our feeder programs too. So Tulsa expects to be right back in this position again next year.
That'll be great just to have that. All these girls getting all that time together right now. It's going to speak volumes for what they will be like next year, and I think it's going to be a fun challenge for our team. I think there's some of those younger players and some of our 8th graders as well that are coming up that are hungry, that want the opportunity, and they show it when they get on the court. You definitely know the ones that they're ready, they're dialed in. I tell Claire all the time, she's showing the moves that she needs to make to become that key role, that person that gets off when she gets out there.
Yeah, and Tulsa, one thing that they're really kind of missing from last year is they lost a senior point guard in Autumn Block, who was an all-state player phenomenal athlete for the Rebels. This year, they don't really have a true point guard. You know, Emily Archer has kind of taken those duties over by necessity, but she's really more of a two guard. So next year, they do have a true point guard coming up from that 8th grade class. So that's going to also help the Rebels out and get people in their more natural positions.
Well, that's the end of the half here. We're going into the locker rooms. St. Joe's up 26-7. And I think regardless of the numbers on the board, they both could be playing a little better right now.
Yes.
It's lucky for us right now that it's happening that way, but I think they both have some adjustments to make to see. And I think if I'm guessing right, Tulsa's going to come out firing this second half. They're going to have to. It's time now or never.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, you're down 19, only 7 points in an entire half. That is the lowest scoring output for the Rebels all season long. So they definitely have to find a way in the second half to put more points on the board. But we talked about it earlier. You can't make up 19 points all at once. You have to kind of do it bit by bit. And that's just going to have to be the mindset for the Rebels when they come out here in the second half, just a little bit each and every time down the court. Just take the opportunities you get and try to capitalize on them.
Well, we'll let you guys take a rest from hearing from us. We'll try to grab maybe some people talked about what they think is going on, how I feel it's going on, and then we'll join you guys back here as the game picks back up in the next 7 minutes or so. Thanks for joining us for the stream. We'll be back shortly.
All right, we're being joined on the broadcast now by St. Joe boys head basketball coach Todd Maynard. Coach Maynard, you guys got a big game coming up yourselves. You guys get ready to start sectional play.
Yeah, we play Gilmer here tomorrow night at 7 here at Spring Valley. We appreciate them letting us host here and kind of let this be our home away from home. But, we got a tough section and a tough region for sure.
Yeah, we talked about that during the first half of the girls' game here. This is probably the toughest region in Single A. You got Tug Valley, Tulsa, Wahama, you guys. All four of those teams are teams that have the opportunity to make it to Charleston.
Oh, yeah, I think Class A is really wide open. You got some good quality teams. I think Tug is obviously one of the top teams to beat. A lot of rides on that on our end because I know us, Gilmer, whoever makes it, Wahama, we want to win that sectional championship because nobody wants to go to Naugatuck.
No, nobody wants to make that trip down the road, which, if the Rebels, they got a big game tomorrow night against the Sherman team that, beat the Tulsa Rebels last time out. So if Tulsa wins that, we're going to have to make that drive to Naugatuck, assuming that, Tug Valley holds and wins over Man or Van.
Yeah, definitely. Well, on that side with Tug and whoever makes it, obviously Tug's probably going to win the sectional championship, let's be honest. But, whoever makes it has a winnable game on the other side for sure.
Yeah. And if things work out the way the seeding says they should work out, which doesn't always happen, there's a good chance that it could be a St. Joe Tulsa rematch.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very likely. It could happen, but Wahama's tough too. I know we beat them earlier in the year, but they're going to be a different ball club, and they'll adjust. They'll get and watch film and adjust. So I think that'll be a battle.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you have to play a team a couple of different times throughout the year to see the adjustments and stuff that they make, and see how teams improve as the year goes on.
Oh, absolutely. And I think everybody, has played each other at least once. So, it's a little chess match. And, if you just got to go out and take care of business. But, I don't know what's going to happen out of our section and region.
And I would imagine that whatever does transpire in that region is, you're going to send two teams to the state tournament that expect to win it.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's wide open. I think, obviously, Tucker County is really good. They beat Tug the other night, but they played them at home. So on a neutral floor, that might have it tipped to Tug Valley, and I think Tug Valley probably wins one in a neutral floor. But, it just depends on, seeding too. You want to have a good draw for the state tournament, and hopefully, somebody comes out of ours. I always root for somebody who comes out of our section or region, and, you want to root for the guys you play against. Yeah,
you're also the athletic director there at St. Joe, and right now, the girls 26-7 here as we start the third quarter, looking good for the Irish so far. As an athletic director, man, you got to be proud of what's going on at transpiring at St. Joe right now. You guys have started a football program, baseball programs coming back, and both boys and girls basketball have a strong seasons.
Oh, absolutely, and it comes down to coaches. And as an AD, each time I hire somebody, I want to hire somebody who's passionate and has energy about themselves, that really want to build a program. And, we got a lot of really good coaches that want to build programs, and it really starts with them. But, I'm really proud of this girls team. They lost Shannon Lewis, who, won those multiple state championships. They won a couple years. Coach Huff come in, they're building. And, now they have a, really good squad. And, so very proud of them. And, this game tonight, I think Coach Huff is, doing the right thing. They have a really good ball club, and I've seen her. She's sprinkling a lot of the end of her bench there throughout the game in a regional championship very, very early. So, she's probably trying to, save these kids from, some different injuries and different things like that with the state tournament coming up.
Yeah, and I know, Coach Marone really well and have a lot of respect for what he's done all those years he's been out there at Tulsa. And for him, he's probably thinking this is just great experience for his girls because this is a team full of Rebels that'll be back next season.
Oh, absolutely. So he has some pieces. There's some really good ball players on this Tulsa team, and he gets most of them back. And I know he has a good group coming up. So, I was talking to Coach a little bit earlier before the game, and I know he's excited about that. But, I think, with the team he has, they've worked hard, and you can never downplay a regional championship, regardless win or lose. I mean, you make it to a regional championship, that's really tough to do. So he's done a good job, and what I love about Coach, and he's a good friend of mine, but he's stuck in there no matter what. If he has a good team, bad team, good teams, he sticks in there. And a lot of guys, they'll ride the wave, and when the wave's done, they'll quit. They don't want to rebuild it, but he's definitely did that.
Yeah, and this is an excellent coaching job, honestly, by Marone, to have these girls here in the sectional championship. Everything that they lost after a state tournament team last year, nobody expected them to be here at this moment, and they this close. Daggone near won a sectional championship, lose it on a 3 at the last few minutes there against Tug Valley.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I watched that there, and that was tough, but it's hard to beat a team 3 times, as you know. And but he's I think this is probably he's been doing it a long time. He's a great coach, but this is probably one of his better coaching years, I would say.
Yeah, and you mentioned it 3 times, especially 2 teams that are as evenly matched as those Tulsa Tug Valley teams were. They played 3 games this year. Point differential after 3 games, 0.
Wow, that's not. Anytime you get Tulsa and Tug, you just throw the ball up, and you don't know what's going to happen.
No, it is true. One of the best rivalries, not just in single A, but in all of West Virginia high school basketball. And things are building that way with Tulsa and St. Joe. So again, maybe we'll see that rematch in the regional finals.
Yeah, well, I hope it does, because that gives us a shot. So I know if they beat us, I'm always going to be the reason that Tulsa never made it to the state tournament. I'm just kidding, but I wish both teams the best. I have lots of love for, and I don't just say that. They, I was telling Dr. Templeton down there, I always loved Tulsa. They gave me a shot when I was a young, ambitious guy to prove that I could do something in my own shoes, and I have nothing but love for the community.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us here for the first half of the third quarter. We wish you luck as you guys start sectional play tomorrow night. And, again, hopefully you guys can do what you're supposed to do, take care of business against Gilmer, and we'll hold up our end, take care of business against Sherman tomorrow night as well.
Oh, I appreciate it, Prince. You do a good job, man, and we'll probably see you March 5th.
All right, man. Thank you.
See you, buddy.
I don't think people were expecting it to turn into the Nays Entertainment all of a sudden. And he always talks real highly about all the things that you guys worked on and rolled out while he was out there, and he's very proud of his time out there.
Yeah. Well, and me and Coach Maynard, we go way back. We're both Canova guys. Grew up playing youth sports and stuff together down here at AK, and spent a couple of years together at Spring Valley before both of us ultimately transferred. I transferred out to Tulsa. He transferred over to Fairland. But we grew up together. We've known each other since we were, really little kids, 6, 7 years old, playing youth football down there at CU Canova.
Looks like our number 22, Nico Kaufman's at the line after getting fouled by your number 22, and that looks to be her second.
Yeah, that's JC Crumb's second, and while we had Coach Maynard on here talking, Amber Stevens picked up her third. So Tulsa in a little bit of foul trouble, and just in a little bit of trouble in general here, down 22 with 3:48 to go in the third quarter. Make that 23 now.
Now, I don't know when they release the matchups for the state tournament. It all comes down to after all these games are played today, then they do matchups after that, right?
Yeah. So after all these regional final games get wrapped up, they'll have a little meeting and do the seeding. And, I would expect the Irish, if they hang on here tonight, to, probably get a top 3 or 4 seed in Charleston.
Okay. Well, that foul was on number 10, Campbell Lee. It looks like that's her first, team second.
Priest off the marker there on that 3-pointer. And, Tulsa's just still struggling to really find the basket and score some points. Another golden opportunity at the foul line there, and Tulsa couldn't capitalize.
Fight for the ball down low there, breaking out, and then and capitalizing on the moment there. I think that's well done.
Yeah, that's the first time tonight that Tulsa's really had that opportunity to get out and run and finish it off. They've had a couple of chances earlier in the game and either turned it over or missed layups. That time Tulsa finishes it, and here they come back the other way again on a 2-on-1, and Crum keeps it herself and leaves that layup short.
Looks like Ava was trying to answer with the same play right down the court, but looks like, was that number 22? Was that her third?
That's going to be her third foul. So again, fouls starting to pile up for the Rebels, and
I feel like I see both our boys and girls teams experience that. Anytime that they're in a position where they're down, I feel like we end up letting it get into our heads, and the fouls start to pile up for a short period of time until the coaches get a chance to get that corrected. And I think this takeaway right here might help that.
Another turnover for the Rebels. Again, the length of St. Joe just really causing them a lot of problems and a lot of contact there. No foul. Tulsa kind of lucky to get out of there without giving up any points, and now we're going to have a foul on the Irish.
It looks like, I believe that's on number 55, Claire Little. Again, one of our freshman players. She came over from Fatima and is a great addition to the team. Ava, number 3 on our team, has been a star from the moment she started playing here. It's been great watching her play. We've got a couple more years left with her, and man, I couldn't be more thankful about that.
Yeah, and you see there, Tulsa, another unforced turnover. They're just all kinds of out of sorts, and at this point, you have to wonder if maybe a little bit of frustration starting to set in on behalf of the Rebels. They're just not executing at the level that they have for most of the season.
It seems like overall the crowd is on both sides a little quieter than they've been in a while. It's kind of just letting them play and hoping that everyone finds their groove and dials it in and kind of gets going.
It's going to be Tulsa basketball on the jump ball.
She's made that play a couple times, and I like it. It seems to be working for them pretty well. If they can pull that off a few more times, you can see that lead shrink pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a 21-point lead, and I know that to say just a 21-point lead sounds crazy, but neither team is lighting the scoreboard up. So, if St. Joe goes cold and Tulsa can start hitting some shots, they can climb back into this game fairly quickly.
Looks like that's on number 12, her third, and at the line is our 23, Kendra Frazier.
Yeah, and that's 3 Rebels now with 3 fouls. Crum, Kelly, and Stevens all through with 3 fouls now.
Looks like St. Joe's going into full press mode. They are trying to fight off that lead. They know it's like you said, it's not a huge lead, and they're not shooting well from the field. So if they can step up the defense and kind of cut it down up there, then I think they're going to try to take advantage of that.
And I think Coach Marone just got teed up.
Oh,
In fact, he did.
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why.
I think he was wanting the foul called a little sooner, and about the time they actually blew the whistle down here to call the foul, he'd already said something to the official here. And just one of those situations where, like, if that happens a half second later, he probably doesn't have anything to say and,
Right.
and doesn't get the tee. But that's a big call because now it puts the Rebels one foul away from putting St. Joe in the bonus for the rest of the third quarter.
Looks like they've let Ava Gallion take those shots.
And that's the really big part of that technical foul. So instead of it being Tulsa basketball, St. Joe gets a 5-point possession there, and all of a sudden now that lead is just ballooning even larger.
And it was Smith right there with the three. And then we are, again, like you said, no one's really lighting it up. We're playing good and we're getting the points down low. There were some moments just like this where we could have taken advantage of that. And, everyone's just amped up right now. I'm sure that the girls are wanting to continue their lead as much as they can. And that's got to be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, Tulsa's just, hasn't really found a groove all night. And again, you got to give some of that credit to St. Joe, but at the same time, the Rebels haven't played their A game tonight. But, J.C. Crumb's kind of getting things going a little bit here in the second half. She's got 6 just in this quarter.
If they can get those breakaway moments for her, set her up for that, it seems to be she's hitting. It's Mariah. I think they called 2, right? All right, that's the end of the third quarter here, 44-16. So we're going into the fourth quarter here at Spring Valley High School. What do you think he's saying over here? I think Jessica, from what I know of her and her style, she's going to play from buzzer to buzzer. She's not. I imagine you'll see the press stay on hard. They don't want to take and lose any of that momentum, so she's going to push them hard, stay on that press the whole time. And I think that's probably what she's focusing on. She's probably trying to get them to slow down over here when we have an opportunity to shoot, but stay on that press.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Marone, I think the message is, hey, guys, we got 8 minutes left here of the game, possibly 8 minutes of our season left. We're down 28. You just want to see what your girls are made of. What kind of fight, what kind of pride do they have? And, this is a growing opportunity for this young Rebel basketball team. There are some moments here that they can take and learn from and go into next year and kind of build off that. And that's really what you want to see if you're Coach Marone. You just want to see that you continue to fight, you continue to scratch, you continue to claw, and just have that resolve to play to the final buzzer.
I think you can't really ask for much more from the girls at that point in time. Just give it everything you got. Show that you've got the opportunity and you can take advantage of it and just put it all on the floor. Because what else do you have to do right now?
Exactly. And, if you're St. Joe, you're thinking about keeping the pressure on because you want to keep yourself fresh and at your A game for, moving on to next week in the state tournament.
Yes. Just keep everyone healthy. Keep Lacey. That was Lacey Smith with another 3. I feel like she's finally warmed up. She's on. She's a talented player. And I tell you what, she puts in the work. It looks like they're calling number 12, Mariah Johnson, with that. That is. She's gonna have to watch out. It's her fourth.
Yeah. And St. Joe has definitely started to shoot the ball better from the outside. They kind of finally settled into the confines here of Spring Valley High School, and 3 threes on their last 4 possessions.
I'll tell you, I had to run to the school late last evening, kind of prep all this stuff to bring it out here, right? It's not a small amount of things, and you know, when you stream those games down there, there's a lot of things that make it happen. She was there last night. She was putting in just a couple extra shots. Just get like take an opportunity, a couple shots, and get out the door. You know what I mean? Like just staying loose all the time. I think that's just fantastic to see the work and dedication when she got the opportunity.
Yeah, and that's a 3 from Crum there. Really picked it up here in the second half. 9 points since halftime for Crum, and she gets a steal here. Opportunity to add to that total.
She's got to not give herself such a hard time on that one. That can get in your head pretty quick, and heck of a block there from number 1.
Yeah, and you know, that's just good hustle by St. Joe, right? They could have easily allowed JC to get that steal and cruise down there and get the easy layup, but the defense for the Irish hustled back and made that a little bit more difficult for JC. She kind of bobbled the basketball, and that bobble put her in a bad position to get the shot up. But again, that's created by the hustle of the Irish.
And number 1 there just like stepped up and just swatted that ball. Got a clean hit on the ball, and it was fantastic. I wonder who's getting called here. It looks like it might be on number 22, Nico Smith. Or Nico Kaufman. No, it was actually on number 3. It's on on Ava, okay.
And that's a good heads-up play there by Archer. She realized she was trapped and she was stuck, and instead of panicking, she kept her cool and just threw the ball off of the leg of the Irish and possession for the Rebels.
It was a great play. She's really warmed up down. She's found herself a lot more comfortable through that defense. They're tough. They stay strong down there, but she's really finding her way through, and I think that's made all the difference for you guys.
And this is where, you know, if you're Coach Marone, these are big moments, even though you're probably not going to come back and win this game. But to get your sophomore JC Crum going a little bit here, that's going to motivate her in the offseason. That's going to give her confidence as it goes in, because she knows that she settled down here and proved herself against a very good St. Joe team.
Yeah, she's definitely been the difference maker for you guys. I think they're close to making the opportunity. It seems like they can get the ball passed around, but they're just not that. They don't have that complete confidence to take the shot in that moment, and it's tough because our defense is playing strong. But they make these opportunities, and they're fighting for it, man. They're not giving up. Your girls are playing hard the whole way through.
Yeah, and that's a testament to Coach Marone and his staff and kind of the mentality they instill in those girls. They are going to compete until that final whistle blows. They're going to play hard every single night, regardless of what the score is. And, you know, that's a mark of a good team, and that's how you know girls, they'll be back next year, a year older, a year wiser, new pieces of the team. And, you know, again, I expect them to be right back here in a regional final with the opportunity to go to state again this season.
I'm excited to talk with Coach Huff once the season comes to an end and see what her plan is, because I mean, like I said, 3 major players are not joining us again next year, and I'm not going to necessarily call it a rebuilding season, but I think it's gonna be a prove yourself kind of season. These younger players are going to have to come in and put in the work and show that they've got the opportunity. Then they know they have the opportunity and they want to take advantage of it. So I'm excited to see what her thoughts and plans are for next year. And that looks like a timeout for St. Joe.
Yeah, and one of the unique things, too, for St. Joe compared to like a Tulsa high school or one of the public schools is not only do you have the kids coming up from your feeder programs, but you never know who may transfer into the program that could give your team a boost.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that there's been times in the past where that's happened. I think we've seen some kids that have come over in the middle school season. The Hope Scholarship obviously has helped. The transfer rules have helped students that have wanted to transfer around. Maybe they're a B player, maybe they're a C player, maybe they are a strong A player. They get those opportunities when they move around, and I'd love to say we're the only ones that have benefited from that, but there's a lot of schools across the state that have. I don't know if you saw that report from that they put out there where they looked at where everyone actually moved around, and it was surprising to see how many kids moved around.
Yeah, the new transfer rules in West Virginia have definitely opened up things, not just for the private schools to get those transfers, but the public schools to get a lot of transfers too. And I know at the AAA level, especially, or in the 4A level, that really changed the landscape of some of those teams at that level of what they looked like and what they thought their season was going to be. Some for the good, some for the bad.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely. There was more public schools with movement like that than I had expected to see. I thought there would be a lot of the St. Joe's, the Charleston Catholics, those schools that would see an influx. And while we do see an influx of students from time to time, I was surprised to see how many of those kids moved through the public school system.
Well, it was the first year of those rules, so it was kind of like the wild, wild west. Everybody was trying to figure it out and take advantage of it where they could. It's definitely changed the landscape of what West Virginia sports look like.
And I think we're seeing that at all levels, with the transfer portal,
yeah,
college and all the NIL deals, where on one end it's providing these. It's like Ransbottom with that bucket there. We're seeing these students getting an opportunity that they may have never had in their entire life, being able to make a ton of money. It does make it tougher for some of those small schools. What a great job.
Yeah. Allie Priest, that's her third three of the ball game. Again, 51-24, it looks bad on the scoreboard, but there have been some positives in this game for the Rebels, and I think that they could easily, there's another, point-blank shot they couldn't get to go down. They could easily, be a much more competitive ball game than it has been.
Is that a timeout Tulsa?
Timeout Tulsa, yes.
It is. I mean, I do miss our gym. I think there's something special about having those small gyms that get incredibly loud. The energy just fills them. But I mean, it is nice. Everyone's kind of got some space here. The players aren't running into the stands as the ball is going off the court. I think it gives them a little bit of a chance to feel, a little bit of space for once. But you're right. I do miss it. There's something about those tiny gyms.
We got to play, the boys at Tulsa got to play a couple of weeks ago down in Indiana at the Hoosier gym where they filmed the movie Hoosiers.
Oh, wow.
And that is a really small, old gym, but it was a great atmosphere where, you just felt, even though the crowds were a little bit smaller because it was Tulsa playing man, so both teams had to travel from West Virginia to Indiana for that game. The crowd wasn't a huge crowd. It felt big because the gym is so small. The atmosphere was incredible, and obviously a lot of history in that gym.
Another great move down low there. That's a Myra Stubblefield. She's an addition to our team and our school. She's been working hard. She's really growing down low there, just trying to occupy that space a little bit better. Seeing her progress over the season, she's definitely becoming more comfortable, and it's great to see that growth in the girls. That was a pretty shot there. Mariah Johnson with a 3-point. It's 2.5 minutes left in the game. I think we're at a spot now where it would take a lot to make things turn over, but
yeah. I mean, I think this one is obviously the outcome is decided, but again, for the Rebels, there are things that you can build on here in this last 2 minutes and 29 seconds that you can take with you into the off season, and one of those things is just a little bit of confidence to kind of get things going. If you're, JC Crum, especially her and Kylie Priest have had some success against a really good Irish team, and the Johnson girl there who hit the last 3 for St. Joe, she's got a great looking form on her shot. I mean, it's a pretty looking stroke.
All right.
And there's Priest knocking down another 3 for the Rebels. That's her 4th. So again, positives for Tulsa High School, and I know I've said this a couple of times now, but this is a Tulsa team that brings everybody back except for Sarah Sturgill, the lone senior on this Rebels team, and they add some nice pieces coming up from the 8th grade classes at Fort Gay and Crum. And Tulsa's they're gonna get to work in the off season and be right back here next year.
I think this is gonna be.
And Priest is heating up a little bit. There's her 5th.
I mean, given those opportunities, and she's taking advantage of them. That's going to be a fun player to watch next year. She got this year under her belt, and I think that's going to be fun. We had Arlea Austin check in. She's one of our freshman players. It looks like we got a couple other of our younger players that are getting ready to check in.
Same thing for the Rebels. You got Megan Clayton checking in, and the Castle checking in. That's 2 girls who don't get a whole lot of playing time, but that's another thing that's important about these kind of games here late in the season. You get the opportunity to get girls some experience that haven't had a whole lot of it this season. And Kylie Priest and JC Crum, we've talked about them a lot here this half, and those are 2 girls that are just sophomores, and both of them have only been playing basketball for about 3 years now. They started as 8th graders, so they're still in the game and growing as players. And
I think that's going to be a fun thing to see develop. Watching them having more time playing together, having more time on the court, just handling those situations better. But Claire Little, who checked in, and also Carmen Yemba, who checked in. So it's good to see, like you said, these girls getting the opportunities to have some time on the court, maybe get a shot off, maybe not, but just having some time to participate in the regional championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because that's one thing that maybe people who aren't close to these programs don't get to see, but how hard every girl on both of these teams work, from the starting 5 to the girls that don't get a whole lot of time on the floor. They earned this opportunity to say that they played in a regional championship.
Yeah, and it means a lot. I mean, I would have to imagine that'll be a memory that all the girls will have later on in life. And maybe it'll be something they just look back on a little bit, but just having that opportunity to say that they got to play in, maybe take a shot, maybe they make the shot, maybe they don't, whatever, they have the opportunity, and that's got to mean a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you never know either, like when you may need one of these girls to step up either this year or next year or whenever it is. And these moments of experience are big for them.
It's kind of a necessary foul, girls, at the end here. Just let them have the shot, I think we should play a little, but they're young, you know what I mean? And I think that's just what happens. They're excited to be a part of it. And
well, that's one of the things about when you do go to the bench and you bring in girls who haven't played a whole lot, they're not going to come out and say, well, this game's about over, I'm going to go out here and kind of go through the motions. They're going to come out and play as hard as they possibly can and try to show what they've got in the limited time that they have on the court. Is Megan Clay gets on the score sheet there, knocks down that free throw for the Rebels and knocks down the second. So good trip to the line for her. And again, these are just opportunities for girls to get experience and get some confidence that they can carry on into the rest of their careers.
Well, that is the end of the game there. Looks like St. Joe is gone ahead and pulled the victory off 54-34. I tell you what, though, they're excited, and they should be excited. I'll tell you what, you said, though, the Tulsa girls, they played hard. and they should be proud of exactly what they've got for being a young team and getting to this point and having a real opportunity to compete at the state level. Like this is an amazing experience for them, and I know that they'll take this and turn it into something they can be proud of again.
But, a year ago, this game went the other direction. It was a regional final, and Tulsa got the win over St. Joe, and it was Tulsa that was cutting down the nets and celebrating. And, those St. Joe girls are on the team last year. I'm sure they remember that feeling of what it was like walking off the court and seeing somebody else celebrate the opportunity to go to the state tournament. So, now Tulsa's the ones experiencing that feeling, and the Rebels, they'll remember that too, and it'll be something that sticks with them in the offseason.
Thank you everybody for joining us tonight, and congratulations to our 2024 Region 4 regional champions, the St. Joseph Lady Irish.
I had to take a quick break there to give them the announcement. I mean,
they've got you doing a little bit of everything here. PA and calling the games.
Like I said, we're a private school. We wear many hats, but I
get it.
would have taken a break for that to announce that was a really cool moment for them.
We're a little single A school too out there in Tulsa, so a lot of times I'm having to pull double, triple duty. So I totally understand having to wear multiple hats. And 54-34 final score here. And the Irish are going to the state tournament.
I'll be interested to see those matchups as they're released next week. I'm sure, we'll make sure we're keeping everyone up to date on what that is. I know for a fact that what we are going to see is Jessica pushing them, Coach Huff pushing them hard over the next couple days. I think it's March 4th or 5th, 6th, 7th, something like that.
Something like that. It's about a week and a half before state tournament. Brackets and stuff should start coming out, maybe tomorrow morning. I don't know if all the regional final games were tonight or not. But as soon as those regional final games wrap up, they'll have the bracket out there and the seeding. And with the big win, the upset that the Irish pulled off against Gilmer County in the sectional championship, I expect that to hold some weight and probably give the Irish a pretty decent seeding at state.
I think, I think it'll be good. I think that this was it went the way I hoped it was going to go. It didn't go the way everyone hoped it to go. I'm happy for the girls. I would have been just as happy for them to have worked really hard and lost by a little. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just seeing them play hard, put in the effort. I'm glad their season gets extended. I am sad, really, that that can't go both ways. I wish everyone kind of had that opportunity. We got lucky this time, but that, like you said, is not always the case. It was not the case before. It may or may not be the case again. But I'm hoping these girls are enjoying the moment right now, and I know that your girls are looking at what happened tonight, how it went, and how they're going to learn from it. So that way next year they're the ones doing this right here.
Yeah, and then that's all you can do. And that's one of the things that's beautiful about sports is it gives you the opportunity to test yourself in so many different ways, and one of those ways is how resilient are you? How do you handle adversity, and how do you bounce back from disappointment? And I expect the Tulsa girls to put in the work in the off season and again be back in the situation next year to give themselves an opportunity to go to state.
I think we can truly expect to see that. It's been a great time just calling this game with you. I think it's been a fun dynamic for people. It's not a lot of the time that we get to have somebody from both sides of the games be involved in this. And I think it's really fun to know that, I don't know everything about your team. You don't have to know everything about my team. We could fill in, and it gives everyone a good chance to enjoy the game from a pretty even, view of the whole operation and what's going on in the field. So it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me on this one.
Oh, thanks for having me. And I know our fans appreciate you guys having this broadcast, because I was getting messages all day long about if I was broadcasting this game, if somebody was going to be streaming it, and I wasn't sure. So I know that there's a lot of Rebel faithful who tuned in tonight, and, they appreciate you guys at St. Joe having something for them to watch for the fans who couldn't make it here.
I'm glad it worked out. It was a little tough start, but we got it all figured out. I'm glad we could make it happen. We are expecting, once they kind of get done with this, for the folks that want to stick around on the live stream, we'll have Coach Huff is going to join us shortly, and a couple of the girls are going to join with her. So I'll let you cut out, kind of hang out. Thank you again so much for joining us. Guys,
Thank you again for having me.
Right back here as Coach Huff and the girls finish up their moment down on the court. All right, looks like we're going to be joined first by Mariah Johnson. I think that's who's on her way up here. So they're still down there on the court trying to cut down every bit of those nets and enjoy some time with each other after this victory. And it's much deserved. They worked really hard for this. So.
Oh, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can all hear each
so
other.
weird.
All right, so we are joined by Kendra Frazier and Mariah Johnson. We're going back to back here on these sectional and regional wins off to the states. Like, how are you guys feeling right now? It was awesome to see you cutting this down. What's going on in your brains right now?
I'm so happy we made it and we pulled through because we did not start off that game good, but we pulled through.
What about you? What's going on with you?
I'm glad that we're getting better and we're working because that first half was a little rough, but it's next game, next play, and we're just getting better as we go.
Yeah, I think I think everyone saw there were some opportunities. You guys were really on them defensively, maybe not taking full advantage of it, but in the end, it didn't matter. It's something to learn from. What are you guys looking forward to, or are you might be nervous about with states coming up? Is there any team you'd really like to face, and any team you're not looking forward to playing against?
I'm not looking forward to playing Gilmore again if that does happen. But if it happens, we're just going to have to fight through, and I think we'll be fine.
I'm looking forward to playing anybody. I feel like we can face any team and come out as the victor.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know if I was reading it right, but it seemed like Coach Huff was really pushing you guys to stay on the press pretty hard down there. It was like those were where the majority of your strong points were coming through. So it seemed like you guys really stepped that up. Was that something you guys tried to focus on later in the game? Then?
Yeah, we're working on that, so we're ready for states.
Yeah, we're making sure our identity is that we're a pressing team so that we hit teams like Cameron and we hit teams like Gilmore, that we can press them the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to chat with one of the broadcast teachers from Tulsa. He kind of called the game with me here, and he was talking about that Tulsa's a pretty young team. So these are girls that you guys will likely see again next year. What do you think? It came out in your favor today, but I mean, it could have easily gone the other way. I mean, sometimes. So what do you think that they've got to work on, or you think that they were great at, and what could they work on for next year for facing against you guys again next year?
You got to take advantage of every play. Every time you have the ball in your hands, you have to take advantage of that. And getting rebounds is especially important. You can win games just by getting more rebounds. It's about the team who makes the most free throws and the most rebounds. If you can't do that, you're not going to win.
So you said it.
Yeah, I think it came through, and I think they worked hard. You guys really put in the effort. It really worked out well for you all today. I'm so proud of you all. I'm glad you got to cut down the nets. I'm excited to see where you guys get the seed. What are you guys hoping to? What do you think you're gonna come out with seeded for the
I
state
hope
tournament?
we get second. That's what we were pushing points for. But if we get third, it's sad day.
Well, there's no sad days. You guys are more than prepared. I think this is really cool for the folks that are looking back at St. Joe. You know, after they had that major run year after year at the state tournaments, y'all are looking like that again, and I think that's exciting for our school. So congratulations. I'll let y'all run out of here, but thank you all so much for joining us, and really, really great work.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I think Coach Huff is going to be joining us soon, so stay tuned with us here. All right, we are joined now by Coach Jessica Huff. Coach, great win. I mean,
Thank you.
it was started off a little slow, right? I mean, that 3-point percentage was a little low, but it seemed like you guys really dialed in on the press, keeping them shut down on the far side of the court. What was the goal?
It's my shameless plug. You come to St. Joe, we don't hold you back. You shoot until it goes in. I mean, what do you do, right? We were at some point 2 for 14 at the 5-minute mark. And on top of that, missed layups, right? So we just told the girls, just calm down. We're playing for something. So everything matters. These are the kind of games, because let me say, this coach is such a seasoned coach. He's won himself a state championship. Like, he gets it. So his kids are physical. They're going to be physical, and we had to remain disciplined. So I think once they started to see the points accumulate, we got ourselves going in our press. We settled in a little bit, but it was a double rim. I told him, I said, I know y'all have never played on the blacktop, but this is a chain net on the blacktop right now with a double lip. You got to shoot up, you know?
They looked like they persevered. They came through. I mean, it really could have gone both ways. I'm so excited for them. Where are you hoping you guys are seated for the next?
I am praying for a 2 seed, that the basketball gods take care of us. Obviously, we had a big road win, but we've played some really quality competition. And so I got asked in an interview how you do like strength of schedule and stuff like that. Guys, we're a 1A school. We're a tiny school for everybody that doesn't know that. But we're big in all that we do. But we've played all 4As, 3As, former state champion. So we're hoping that our strength of schedule, quality of schedule, a big road win here in postseason play will get us that 2 seed, because it makes it better for Irish fans to be able to come and support us at the game. So that's what we're hoping for.
I feel like everyone's kind of feeling a little nostalgic, like it's like the days of like the 7, 8, back to back. Like here they are, they're on their way. These girls have been playing so hard for so long. I mean, their whole lives really put in the work to get to where they are today. Some of our three of our players not coming back next year. This is a big opportunity for them. What's it like as the coach just to have this
How
opportunity?
blessed are we to have 2 players that have won a state championship? To have that experience on your team calms the locker room, right? But there's a lot of coaches, collegiate, high school right now. When you go into start postseason, sometimes locker rooms start to fall apart. Our locker room after the new year started to really gel. And I think that's the leadership we have. We have very academically astute young women, but their basketball IQ is high. And so the expectation has always been, we always said, if we were healthy going into March, we had a shot at it. And so I want to honor what St. Joe Lady Irish basketball is. We are a powerhouse, and I don't ever want to diminish that. We are a small school sitting right there on 6th. A lot of stuff comes out of that building that's successful. So I want to be that squad, and I tell the girls, if you have a story, the only time people listen is when you're on a mic. You win games, you get on the mic. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I know everybody else is excited. We'll see. We'll all be praying for that number 2 seed. Hopefully it all works out.
Thanks, brother.
And then we'll be there next week. Well, is it next week? It's the 5th, 6th, 7th, or?
Yeah, it would be praying a Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, God willing situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we're right back here with the boys. They're going to be taking on beginning their sectional run. So it's cool to think we have possibility to have both of our teams.
We'll be here rocking and
for it.
rolling. The girls, it is mandatory. It's mandatory for them to be here and support the guys. So we'll be here.
Well, thanks, Coach. I really appreciate
Thank
your
you
time.
for everything you do.
Congratulations. Yeah,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.